One of the issues is that within the Christian context, we have a lot of faith. We have a lot of doctrine, but our faith is not connected to love, and love is transformative. So one thing that I heard William Sloane Coffin said is that you have to be careful when you're talking about faith or critiquing people that have deep faith, because they have deep faith, but the problem is that they don't have love. When you have deep faith without love, then you create doctrine that is destructive. And so people who've been taking you to the altar have deep faith about what they believe, hold on to what they believe, but love causes you to wrestle with issues. And so that becomes the central aspect of the gospel, the idea of love. And that becomes the love ethic that we within the church have not engaged, because one, within the American context, we don't like the word love because love deals with forgiveness, love deals with compassion, all these other ideas. We like faith because faith allows us to operate out of a doctrine that can be rigid in terms of our connection to people. So I don't have to shift with my faith, but love causes me to change the way I look at my faith.
I think that when you think about Christ, and you think the fact that he ate with and socialized with so many crazy people, the prostitutes, the tax collectors, which were some of the worst of the day, of that time, he socialized with all of them. And I think that when the church begins to have that same accepting feel, that people who know they're not necessarily together, know they're not necessarily where they should be, feel accepted. And even if, there are disagreements theologically about, where they are and who they are and how they identify themselves or how they live, I think it is not up to the church to make anyone, regardless of who they are, feel unwanted. Regardless of where they stand and how they're living, they should not feel unwanted. Yes, there has to be a standard, and who set a higher standard than Jesus? Second point to the church is somewhat connected to the first, in that the church must be a place of liberty and spiritual expression. Again, holding a standard, but when people feel accepted, it should be the center in which discourse can happen, to where people can actually voice their true concerns and true confusion. It seems as though being confused about Scripture or being skeptical about Scripture is something so looked down upon that no one can really be them true selves and express their true feelings for what they read within the Bible. And I am a huge advocate of having important conversations, and having conversation, period. But when it comes to the spiritual journey, it is high importance to have very open discourse, because if that is held within, people are not growing. People are not necessarily getting closer to God. They're just hiding. And because Jesus knows our hearts, that hiding isn't helping your relationship with Christ. It's just helping your relationship with man. It's just helping your relationship with the church. Last point for the church, I think that the church has forgotten that they are the center of the community and must be active in social justice, must be policymakers. The church must be high on voting and lobbying. The church, I think that it's key to remember that Jesus, in the different discussions and debates that Jesus had, it wasn't just with common men. In fact, many of them were lawmakers. Many of them were Pharisees. Many of them were people of leadership. So if you take that and you think about that today, you would say that the church should be very active in talking to politicians. The church should be very active in talking about their local government officials. There should be a key relationship and a continuing discussion between church leadership and politicians and their government, local government officials. I heard once that Martin Luther King always carried three things with him: the Bible, the Constitution, and a book written by Howard Thurman, a fellow Morehouse man as well as King. And Dr. King understood that it was very important to, if you are a believer of Jesus, to be a fighter of injustice. He understood that if you are a believer of Jesus, you care and seek to help the disenfranchised, to help the marginalized. That if you are a believer of Jesus, you will do what you can to help the least of these. Why isn't the church organizing key conversations? Why aren't there debates within the church? Political debates? Why aren't there an opportunity for people to learn more about their local officials in a way that does justice, not in a quick, oh, vote for this person or these are the names, but breaking down the most important policies of the day, breaking down the most important laws and acts that need to be passed. When British writer G.K. Chesterton was asked what is wrong with the world, he replied, "I am." The same must be true with the church. What is wrong with the church? I am.